You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is pure. Love is definitely not murder.
You are now listening to The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay on Spotify. A podcast aimed to uncover and share the stories behind heinous and insane acts that have been overlooked or overshadowed by mainstream media, getting justice for the voices that can't speak.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kay, and I am the host of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast, a podcast designed to focus on crimes committed in the Black community that you don't hear about in mainstream media, giving a voice to those victims that have otherwise been silenced. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast with me, Kay, the Texas girl in a Georgia world, baby. Ladies, how y'all feel? Fellas, y'all all right? It is Sunday, February 22nd, 2026, and your girl is a little sleepy because I just got off work not too long ago, and I have had an eventful couple of days. So after I finish recording, I'm going straight to bed. Like, clearly, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm feeling like an old hen these days. Amen. Like, y'all, I have been so sleepy lately. It makes no sense. But I am here making sure y'all are getting this episode before the end of Sunday night. And I must say, it is a good episode. Okay, season 4 is really going along great. It's going along smoothly. And I'm cooking up some really great things for my mobbers. I can't wait to the end of this episode to tell you guys about some of the projects that are in the works. So y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned, okay? But in the meantime, y'all know what I'm about to ask, right? What you sipping on? Today, I'm just chilling with some Liquid Death carbonated water. I got to work tomorrow, so I will not be doing any drinking or anything like that. But, definitely taking it easy. And I love Liquid Death carbonated water. Like, it's my favorite. It's just like drinking soda for me, but without actually doing so. But of course, I got my popcorn, and for my snack of choice, I've got my nerd clusters. I've really been addicted to those lately, like just craving them nonstop. But hopefully, you've got your drink of choice and are ready to get this episode going with me. Now, I will say that this one was definitely an emotional one, and I did a deep dive and just kept diving, honey. Like whew, yeah, you in for a doozy. This is just like one of those that really has you questioning how your best friend can become your worst enemy because some people are just monsters. So hopefully y'all are ready to get into a great episode because I know I am. So let's get into it. Hop on in and buckle up because today we're going to take a ride back to 2014 in Wendell, North Carolina. Honey, 2014 was quite a year. John Legend had every wedding playing All of Me. Iggy Azalea stepped on the scene feeling fancy with Swaggy P. And Pharrell had the world clapping along because he was happy. Steve Harvey had the box office on Smash with Think Like a Man 2. And Tyler Perry, child, he made a butt ton of money with Medea's Neighbor from Hell. So, yeah, I think it was safe to say it was a pretty good year. Until one man decided that he couldn't handle the rejection of his wife, his supposed to be best friend, leaving him, and he decided to end everyone's happiness. Y'all ready to get into it? Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. This week's case involves Angelia Smith Taylor, victim, Sylvester Taylor Sr., victim, LaTonya Taylor Allen, surviving victim, and the infamous murderer of the week, Nathan Holden. LaTonya Taylor was born February 22nd, 1982, to Angelia Smith Taylor and Sylvester Taylor. She grew up living in Wendell, North Carolina, which is like this really small town, so it's kind of also known as Riley Hill. Naturally, she grew up in the church because she had two very religious parents. Her mother was the pastor at Zion Hill Holiness Church, and she was one of those that, like, loved the kids and was always talking to them and talking to everybody, really. And her father, Sylvester, he was the deacon, and he was also a veteran from the Vietnam War. Like, he had actually served in both wars, but in the second he got injured and they sent him, home, of course, because of his injury. But he did a lot of the maintenance in the church, and he ministered as well. Latanya, she came from a very loving household. She grew up in an environment where it was very family oriented. She had a half brother with her dad. He had a child before he got with her mom, and that was Sylvester Jr. And they were close, of course. So it was just, one of those type of environments where she knew that she would be taken care of and loved no matter what. She was the typical girl. And her story starts early on with Nathan. They actually grew up in the same neighborhood. Although Latanya came from a loving family, Nathan wasn't necessarily the same. Nathan was born May 3rd, 1983, to Nathaniel Carroll and Antoinette Holden. He grew up in a household with his brothers Jamal and his little sister Katrina, but where they grew up, the environment was a lot different. Their mother, Antoinette, was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And his father, Nathaniel, he wasn't any better because he was an abusive little asshole. Like, many a day, Nathan and his siblings would see their father beating their mom, sometimes to the point beyond recognition. She would have her face bashed in, and it would be, a lot of chaos and anger. No wonder she drank and did drugs. Damn. But Nathan saw it all firsthand. And it only got worse for her because she couldn't, like, shake those demons. She got addicted to drugs and crack specifically, and it was very hard for Nathan. He wanted to help her. He wanted her to get clean, but he was just a kid. What else can he do? So it's kind of limited to what he can really do. But he had a friend that was this beautiful young girl that was in middle school with him. And that girl was LaTonya Taylor. LaTonya Taylor became his refuge. She became his outlet. She was there for him. And they really were like, the best of friends. And y'all know they say that the best relationships start out as friendships. Amen. And for the longest, the two of them were very close. But as they got older, they got closer and closer. And before you know it, they were a couple. They're in high school and they're developing their love for each other. They're expressing themselves to each other more and more. And that closeness kind of turns physical. And Latanya's daddy ain't liking this not one bit. He knows Nathan is trouble. And he was right because trouble found her. By the time Latanya was 15, she ended up pregnant. Now, for her, she was, frightened because, one, she grew up in a household where her mother was the pastor and her father was a deacon. They had expectations for their daughter, and clearly they were broken. And so getting pregnant in high school wasn't necessarily on their, list of things to do. And when they found out that she was pregnant, naturally they were upset. They're disappointed in her, but they were also there for her too, which was a good thing because Nathan completely ignored her. When she told him that she was pregnant, she was like, "Hey, baby, I just wanted to let you know I'm pregnant." And he was like, "Oh, for real? Well, listen, my parents don't think I need to be around until after the blood test happens. So when the baby born, holla at me around that time." And I'm just like, I know it's early on, but this is really where I'm starting to think,
No, you done fucked up, right? No, 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 no. You know you done fucked up, right?
because first of all, boy, fuck you and your parents. Like, how you gonna fuck around with me and now you want to listen to your family all of a sudden and be like, oh, I don't need to be around. Man, please. Like, oh, trifling. But this is devastating to Latanya. Like, how you planting this seed and you not gonna watch it grow? Like, come on, man. That's not cool. And so she deals with the entire pregnancy by herself with just the help of her family. And in 2000, she gives birth to a beautiful baby boy, Jeremy. Now, get this. Once he was born, Nathan took the DNA test and it was proven that Jeremy was his son. And oh, he all in then. Again, I say, fuck you for leaving me through a pregnancy by myself. But, he was happy to be a father. They were the perfect little family, him, Latanya, and baby Jeremy. And Nathan told Latanya, baby, I'm going to take care of you for the rest of my life. I love you, girl. And he stepped up. He did what he thought he was supposed to do. He did what was best. And in 2002, Nathan and Tanya tied the knot. Obviously, they had to have their, parents' permission. But, her father and her son walked her down the aisle, and her mother officiated their wedding. It was beautiful. Jeremy, he looked so cute and adorable in his little tux, and Nathan had his all white tux on. Tanya had this beautiful white dress. Like, it was a wonderful and joyous moment. They were a family and they were making things right in the eyes of God. And things were going good for a while. Nathan was still in school, of course, and so was Tanya. The one downside is that Nathan's mama, Antoinette, and his father, they decided that they were finally done and they made the decision to part ways. But LaTanya also managed to enroll in college as well, and she continued on with her educational journey. She was not about to let having a kid stop her from, her education. So Nathan is dealing with his mom and dad separating, not to mention, the strife that his mom is going through. And after high school, he ends up getting a job at a barbershop. So for the first 3 years of their marriage, Latanya's in heaven. Like, you couldn't tell her anything wrong about her relationship. It was all my man, my man, my man, even back in, that time. So around the time that Jeremy was 5 years old, Latanya gets pregnant again. And this time, Nathan couldn't just walk away and be like, oh, I want a DNA test because, duh, at this point, y'all are married. So they get ready to be parents of two. And in 2005, Tanya gives birth to a gorgeous little baby girl, Nautica. And they were happy and things were going good. But I guess Nathan couldn't stay about that thing because, like, a few months later, Tanya gets pregnant again. And the very next year, in 2006, she has her third child, Amber. Two daughters who were 11 months apart. Whoo, shite. The way I would have jumped out a window having a baby back to back like that. Mm. Shoot, my oldest kids are like a year and a half apart, and that was a lot for me. So just imagine 11 months apart, two little tiny babies. Shit. But they made it happen, they made it work. Now, around the time that she had the girls was when she was working at the bank. And she had to, kind of fall back from that because of the fact that she had two babies under the age of two. Hell, technically under the age of one for that matter. And around this time, Nathan just wasn't there for her like he used to be. Like, he was gone all the time, leaving all hours of the night. He wasn't coming home. And Tanya wasn't stupid. She's like, "Oh, I know this nigga ain't out here fucking around on me." So she figured, you know what? I'ma do the same thing. And y'all, in 2006, for like a month, Tanya was in them streets, baby. She was out there, okay? She was having fun and doing her, had her little affair. Yes. But of course, Nathan got that hold on her and he's just like, I don't want you fucking with nobody else. I did my dirt. I know I was wrong. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. And, he's just like, baby, we can work through this. We can work it out. I'm sorry. All of that. And she fell for the old charm and she ended up back with him. Listen, I hope whoever she did have an affair with was knocking that thing out the box, okay? Ladies, listen, we know when a woman cheats, it's an emotional connection. And the dick got to be good, okay? So she put time into getting to know whoever this person was. Cause like I said, we're not just gonna go pick some random dude, just be like, oh, ho hum, I'm about to go give up the hot pocket. Nah, it's typically something emotional that's connected to it. But, at this point, LaTonya's being superwoman, basically taking care of her family. So she was being the full-time wife and, Nathan was out cutting hair and everything. But it wasn't like, he wanted her to work. As time went on in the marriage, he became more and more controlling and more possessive. He would tell her that he didn't want her dressing a certain way or hanging out with her friends. And God help her if she tried to, like make herself look pretty or something like that. Tanya would try to go hang out at places and go hang out with her friends. And he would like criticize everything that she was wearing. He was always like, oh, where you going? Who you going with? Why you wearing that? It just got to the point that he would tell her that she couldn't go, and of course, she would try to argue with him, but he would do little slick shit, like, he would pull his gun out and just leave it, in front of her like he was trying to scare her or something, and I guess it worked because she was. Nathan had Tanya right where he wanted her, at home taking care of the kids. He's bringing people over to cut hair because he's, cutting hair out of their house. And that's dangerous because you don't know who's there to get their hair cut or who's there to rob the place. And Nathan just wasn't cutting hair either. Nathan had started selling drugs out of the house. And this was just becoming too much for Tanya. She was ready to be out. And, she tried to warn Nathan, but he wasn't listening. In 2009, Nathan and the kids are at the house. And Tanya, I believe at the time, was out working, trying to, help take care of the bills that his ass was always complaining about. But the very thing that Tanya told him that she didn't want to happen, oh, it happened. See, Nathan is selling drugs at the house and he got people coming in and out to get these so-called haircuts and all of that. But one day he has the wrong people up in the house. And what do? They try to rob him. Like homeboy was hurt. When I say they beat the hell out of him, not only that, but the robbers took Jeremy, Nautica, and Amber and held them at gunpoint in another room. Like literally forced these babies to go to another room, put a gun to their head, and told them, sit down and don't move. And these are like little bitty kids. When LaTonya hears about this, she's pissed off naturally because you out here doing this shit around my kids and now you got people showing up to my house. Like anything could have happened to those kids. They could have been killed. And she's telling Nathan, I can't do this no more. You got to slow down. Like she was done. She was emotionally checking out and ready to go. And Nathan's begging her, baby, please don't leave me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I could do better. All of that. And for a while he did improve, but y'all know a leopard never changes its spots, honey. He was up in church and praising God. And I'm thinking, yeah, you can go to church all day long and go to Bible study all day long. But if you plotting someone's downfall, what kind of Christian are you? Christian light. I'm just saying. But, you know, as time goes on, Nathan starts becoming more and more controlling. It's like he's transforming into somebody that she doesn't know. And I mean, you would think that him being attacked like that in his own home and having guns pointed at him and guns pointed at his kids would make him say, okay, hey, I need to slow it down a bit. Nope, it did not. He was right back to the BS. And he started criticizing Tanya more too. He came down her on her all the time. Not just that, but now he's coming down on the kids as well. They're getting older and Nathan starts running the house like a prison. And he really zoned in on Jeremy. He's chastising him about every little thing. On one occasion, when Jeremy was around 13 years old, Nathan took a metal broom handle and beat Jeremy with it. Not just like a little tap, but like literally beat the hell out of him. Jeremy is a kid. What the hell could he have done that was so bad that it warranted that kind of action or that kind of response? And that was just the final straw for Tanya. She couldn't take it anymore. And she told Nathan, baby, listen, I love you, but I can't deal with this anymore. You too toxic for me. I don't want to be with you. And he tried to convince her otherwise, but her mind was set. So in December of 2013, she decided that she was taking her kids and she was leaving. Honey, she packed up her things and the kids' stuff, and she called her mom and dad and she told them, my marriage is over. I need to move back home. And of course, they told her that she could. But the surprising twist was that Jeremy, their son, who had endured the abuse from him, decided that he wanted to live with his father. Like that poor baby just wanted the love of his daddy so bad. And, this was cool with Jeremy because, to him, it's just him and Jeremy, two guys kicking it or whatever, without all the estrogen, I guess you could say. And surprisingly, Tanya agreed to it. So the agreement was that Jeremy would stay with his dad and Tanya would keep Nautica and Amber. And then every other weekend, the two would trade custody of the children so that they could go to the other parent. But Nathan wasn't just concerned about the custody, he was more so concerned about what LaTonya was doing. Shortly after the new year, matter of fact, New Year's Day to be precise, Nathan is trying to talk to LaTonya, but she don't want to hear it. And I mean, he's like harassing her, and calling her. And he's telling her, I'm coming to get my kids. I'm coming to get my kids. And she's like, Nathan, go ahead with that. She kind of reminded me of Phaedra. What Phaedra say, give them around me, Paulo. But Nathan's not trying to hear it. And so he's threatening her, telling her how he's going to get his kids and how she can't stop him and all of that. And her mama and daddy hear all of this. So while he's on the phone with her, she put it on speakerphone. Her parents call 911 and they get the cops over there. And of course, at this point, Nathan has, switched it up a little bit. It ain't, oh, I'm gonna get my kids. You ain't gonna stop me. Now it's, I just want to see my kids, man. And so the cops are listening to him lose touch with fucking reality. So the cops tell him like, okay, hey, you know what, buddy? Why don't you just cool off for a bit and how about y'all go and file for the custody and all of that tomorrow when y'all have cooler heads. And surprisingly, Nathan agrees. He hangs up and then the cops, this is where it gets funny. They tell LaTonya, Molly, you in danger, girl. Okay, so they didn't say that. But, they tell Tanya, you need to go and get a restraining order. Like, he sounds completely psycho. And I think it's safe to say that they were correct. Like, dude was just going off like that with a cop there. And so that's what she does. The next day, she takes the officer's suggestion. And first thing that morning, she gets her kids ready. She has her parents take the kids so that she can drive to Raleigh to go to the Wake County Sheriff's Department and file the paperwork. So once her parents had the kids, she makes the drive and she goes to get the paperwork put in place. The whole time, though, her phone is just going off. Her mama calling her daddy calling her, Sylvester Jr.'s calling her. She sees all the people calling her, but she need to get this business handled first. Okay, now remember, Nathan is supposed to be there at some point to meet her to file paperwork for custody. Now, she is supposedly giving him a different time. So she was a little confused when she gets a text message from Nathan while she's filing the restraining order that asks her what floor she's on. She's like, oh, shit. Like, she's got the restraining order now at this point, and her confusion turns to fear. Now she's realizing, oh my God, this man knows I'm here. And Nathan is on one. He's messaging her brother, Sylvester. He's texting him stuff like, things are getting worse. She won't let me talk to the kids. She downtown taking papers out. Kids not in school today. I'm about to react. I'm sorry. Fuck it. Nothing you can do now. It's over. First of all, how the hell did he find out she was taking papers out is what I want to know. That's the part that's the mystery because it didn't say how he knew. But, he's talking to her brother, Sylvester, about all of this. And Sylvester is trying to, get him to relax and calm down. He's like, yo, it ain't that deep, bro. Just step back and think for a moment. Think about your kids. They can't just keep you away. But Nathan wasn't trying to hear that. Obviously, he knows what's up, and it's infuriating him to know that his wife is trying to keep him away from her and the kids. So, whatever Sylvester is saying to him is going in one ear and out the other. And now that Tanya has the paperwork needed, she feels a little bit better and she's getting ready to leave. So, she's walking to her car, and then lo and behold, Nathan pulls up. Baby, when I tell you this man pulled up, blocked her in, came right at her. And he's doing all this hooping and hollering and yelling at her. He's telling her how she can't do shit without him, how he's not going to let her just take his kids. Like, homie is losing touch with reality. He's like, okay, this is what you do. This is what you do. You think you could play me? Like, all of that. So, she's trying to calm him down and she's like, Nathan, baby, just listen. It's not what you think. You got to calm down. I was here for the custody. Just calm down. She calms him down enough that she convinces him to follow her so that they can talk. Baby, that had to be some serious acting because he had her hemmed up against the car and everything. And I'm just like, this is outside the courthouse. Remember this. I'm like, y'all were able to do this outside the courthouse. Where the hell was everybody? Like, the fact that he was that comfortable to do this there tells you how psychotic he is. So she convinces Nathan to follow her, like kind of buying herself some time, and she gets in her car. Nathan gets in his truck or whatever, and he's following behind her like a freaking madman. And now, remember, y'all, her phone had been going off the whole time, ringing nonstop from different people. So she's driving and she gets another call, and this time it's the SRO at Jeremy's school. So she answers it and he asks for her and he was like, hey, Miss Taylor. And she's like, yeah, this is she. And he was like, are you with your husband right now? Have you talked to your husband? And she says, listen, I'm driving now. He's right behind me. He's crazy. He's gonna kill me. And the SRO is in agreement. He tells her how he had been talking to her brother and some other people, and they said that Nathan said he was going to kill her and their kids. He said straight up, "You need to get somewhere safe." So she doesn't take that warning as a joke. She speeds off, hauls ass, and she goes right to the police station, jumps out, runs inside, and like Shawty left the car running and everything. She goes inside and she tells the cops, "My husband is following me. I got a restraining order against him. I need help." And so the cops get the situation under control and things kind of die down for a bit. LaTonya, she's still with her parents and everything. The irony is Nathan still has Jeremy like this entire time. He spent Christmas with him, all of that. But they were having to get ready to go to custody court because Tanya wanted to make sure that she could have all of her children. And, I guess she just wanted Nathan to just have visitation or whatever. So they had this court case coming up. Now, more time passes or whatever, and things kind of chilled out over the next couple of months. But listen, never trust a person like that. Like their whole mood is just smoldering. And that's what it was. The fire hadn't been fully put out, it was just smoldering. And then it went a full blaze April 9th, 2014. So it's April 9th, 2014, and LaTonya's at home, not really feeling too good. Her daughters are with her parents in another part of the house, and, she's laying in the bed, and she's pretty much been in bed like all day. Like it's around 9 o'clock at night, and while she's in the bed, she hears her son's voice. Now, this normally wouldn't be out of the ordinary, but she knew that her son was with Nathan. And not only that, but she hears a bunch of commotion. Next thing you know, Jeremy comes in the room to speak to her, but she's distracted because she can hear Nathan talking and going off. And so she's like, okay, what's going on? All she hears is Nathan saying, y'all not going to talk to me? Y'all not going to talk to me? Somebody going to talk to me today. And right after that, Nathan opens fire on Tanya's mother, Angelia. He shoots her in her chest, in her heart at point blank range. And When Tanya hears the gunshots, she's panicking. Her babies, they come running in the room and her instincts kick in. She grabs her kids. She's telling them, listen, y'all need to get in the closet. I love y'all. Get in the closet. She knows that Nathan's coming for her at this point. She grabs her cell phone and she calls 911 and she tells them, my husband here and he's shooting. Like she knew that he was not leaving that house without killing her. He had already shot and killed Angelia and she was laying on the ground dead. So he goes outside to where Tanya's father, Sylvester, is. Now, it's a lot of land at this house, okay? So Sylvester wasn't necessarily close to the house. He was all the way in the back by one of the sheds. And so Nathan makes his way over there and starts shooting. And he shoots Sylvester like 6 times. But apparently that wasn't enough for him. He walks back into the house like 6 times is a lot of rage. But, he goes back into the house, leaving Sylvester on the ground to just die. And he goes straight for Tanya's bedroom. Like he knows she's in there. Now, Tanya had taken her kids and she had put them in her bedroom closet to try to prevent them from, witnessing what she knew was about to happen. Jeremy is holding his sisters Nautica and Amber inside the closet and they're crying, they're boohooing. They know something bad is going on. Nathan walks in the room and he's, got his gun and Tanya is doing everything in her power to try to keep him calm and to try to keep him from hurting her. And she's telling him, Nathan, baby, just relax. We can talk. You don't have to do this. And he's furious. Oh, I'm baby now. Now you want to talk. Now you want to talk. It's too late. And before you know it, he goes berserk. He starts beating Tanya. Like he's taking the gun and hitting her with it, punching her in the face. She's screaming for him to stop. She falls to the ground and he does not let up. Like he shatters one of her eardrums. He's hitting her over and over. He hits her so much that she loses sight in one of her eyes. And, he's hitting her with the gun so much that it ends up going off and a bullet goes right through her cheek. She gets shot in the face. Then, as she's bloodied, she says one word, and it's the only word that she can think to say: Jesus. Like literally, she just says, Jesus, right before Nathan takes the gun and shoots her in the chest. The bullet enters through her heart, y'all. He tried to pull the trigger again, but the gun jammed, thank God. He's satisfied now that he's shot Tanya. So he puts the gun down and then he goes over to the closet where he knows the kids are hiding. It's not like they were quiet, like they were in there crying for their lives. And he opens the door and he tells them that he loves them and he tells them to give him a hug. He hugs them and hands Jeremy a cell phone and says, now you can call the police. And then he just walks out the door. He leaves and goes down the street to where he lives because he lives very close by to her parents. So he leaves towards his house. And Jeremy sees his mother on the ground bleeding and panicking. He's freaking out. He calls 911 and he tells them a man just came in here and shot my grandparents and shot my mom. Now, if you heard me just now, I said a man. Jeremy didn't want to give his father's identity up, even though he had just witnessed his father shoot his mother. Like, he still didn't want to give up his father. That's how loyal he was to that man that treated him like shit. And he tells the dispatchers, he's going to come back and kill us. You can hear his sisters in the background. We don't want to die. We don't want to die. Please help us. Please, he's going to come back and kill us. Please send help. And so the dispatchers are trying to keep them calm and get somebody out there. Now, it takes about 8 minutes, but they get a deputy out to Lake Glad Road where they live. And I mean, they're going full speed. Like their trigger cameras came on quick. I don't know if y'all know anything about patrol cars, but anytime you activate them blue lights in your patrol car or you hit a certain speed, it triggers the camera inside that vehicle and it's going to trigger every camera in there to record. And that's what happened. Deputy Cameron Broadwell was going like 100 miles an hour to get to the house at one point. And so he pulls up to the house with his partner, Deputy Shapcott, and the two of them get out and, they announce themselves. They're like, hey, sheriff's office, sheriff's department, come out with your hands up. They're looking around. And at first it seems calm to the point that they think, okay, this might be the wrong house. 'Cause it was all the way down this dirt driveway, like, you would miss it from the main road. But once they get closer, Deputy Broadwell can hear Nautica and Amber on the inside of the house crying, and the house is set up like there's this big screened-in porch, so you can see people coming to the door. He sees Jeremy with a cell phone in his hand, and so he, waits for them to open the door, and they do, and Jeremy, was just like he left. And so Deputy Broad was like, "Okay, I gotta get these kids out of here." He was like, "Y'all come with me. Come on, right now, right now, right now." And the girls are crying. They're just like, "Help, help, my mommy's hurt, help." And so he knows, okay, this is definitely the right house. So he takes them to his patrol car and like makes them stand behind it. And he was like, "Okay, y'all stay right here, don't move." And he ends up getting 2 other deputies to follow him. Now, at this point, other deputies are pulling up, one of whom was his partner, like I said, their Deputy Jeremy Evans. Jeremy pulls up as well. So he takes the kids because he's like, okay, hey, I got them. Y'all just go ahead, secure the scene. He starts asking the kids questions. And now Deputy Broadwell and Deputy Shapcott, they got the task of checking the house to make sure that it's clear and everything. So Deputy Broadwell goes to the left and he sees LaTonya's mama, Angelia. She's lying on the ground stiff. So he hears a noise coming from the bedroom and he sees LaTonya rolling around on the ground. At the time, he doesn't know it's her though. He's telling her, stay with me, stay with me. He's trying to make sure that the scene is secure. He's not ambushed or anything like that. And so once he got the scene secure on his side is when he saw how bad she really was. Like, he saw the bullet wounds and he went into protect mode. He told his partner what he saw, and he told him he wasn't leaving her. But the closer he looks, he was like, "Damn, I know this girl." He realizes it's LaTonya Taylor, who he went to high school with. He went to middle school with. So now he's holding her and trying to keep her alive, and he was like, "Please, Tanya, just stay with me. Just stay with me." She's trying to talk. She's trying to move. She's still moving this whole time, and she's, like, gasping for air. And she tells him, "I can't breathe." And he was yelling for EMS over the radio. Like, he's like, "Hurry up and get this bus in here. Let's go, let's go, let's go." Meanwhile, his partner is with her mother, with the body at least, who's now deceased, obviously. So EMS finally arrives and they take LaTonya on the stretcher and they take her to Wake Forest Medical Center. Now, the deputies, they all start clearing the house now that the kids are out of the house and LaTonya's headed to the hospital. They got more room to work. So they see that the back door leading to the backyard is open and immediately they know something's up. Like, they have been relieved to go, but they knew they had to go back and check. So they see a bunch of cars and barns in the back. They start going from barn to barn and they see a plowed field. But there on the field, Deputy Broadwell sees 2 feet sticking up. So he was like, okay, this could be my suspect. This could be a subject. I don't know. So they run up, guns drawn, all of that. They're sheriff's department, identify yourself, but the body ain't moving. So they're like, okay, it's somebody that's dead. So the closer that they get to it, they see that it's Sylvester Taylor and he's in a bloody shirt, multiple gunshot wounds to the body, just dead. So they now have 2 dead bodies and a woman that they don't know if she's going to make it. What they do know is that the hunt for the unknown shooter, oh, it's definitely on, and they got a hunch that they know who it is. But you're going to have to tune in next week to catch it and find out because, yes, I can promise you It is beyond crazy. I had to make this 2 episodes. I know y'all are mad at me. I'm sorry, but there is so much pertaining to the trial. There was no way I could do 1 episode. Like, y'all would have been sitting here forever. So, yes, this is going to be a 2-part episode. This is part 1. I know y'all are fussing me out. I'm sorry, but I promise it's worth it. That is all for this week's episode of the Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. You can follow the show on the various streams on Instagram and TikTok at Infamous One Podcast. That's a number 1, by the way, not spelled out. And you can leave a review there. On X, it's Infamous One Pod, where you can also leave a review. On Facebook, you can join the private discussion group. The Facebook discussion group is the Infamous Ones discussion group. But please be advised, if you don't answer the questions, you ain't getting in. Y'all got to stop messaging me too about, oh, you know, I'm taking too long to let y'all in. Listen, don't start. Okay? Just don't start. But once y'all do get in there, come on in and take a seat. Tell us what you're sipping on, where you're from, and all of that. The show streams on multiple streaming services like Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so on. So please leave a review. The reviews matter. Y'all, it only takes a couple of seconds to leave a review. I guess I should probably give y'all some, huh? The first one comes from Spotify from Cat Eyes 503, and it's on the Why Won't You Love Me episode, which was, about Tia Wimberly and how she killed her only real friend. And it says, this whole situation was sad, but I fear she may actually be an example of how incarceration is supposed to work. I pray she is getting help and is reformed. Amanda did not deserve what she got. A bullet absorbing itself into you is wild. And for the record, I don't think they were ever in a relationship. Great episode, Kay. You know what? First of all, thank you, baby. I definitely try. I just hope that she really is in there learning from this. I don't think they were ever in a relationship either. I feel like she wanted it so bad that, she just kind of made it up. Who knows? The next review comes from Spotify as well, and it's from Anissa on the Lululemon murder. And it says, people really have sticky fingers like this. I know a few. Can't have them out of your eyesight, and that sometimes ain't good enough. Will steal while you're watching, and you don't even know it. That said, this girl was really out of control. I mean, not one person ever held her accountable or punched her. If they did, she wouldn't have went this far. And then stupid lie on top of stupid lie. She deserves every bit of that sentence. Yes, she does. She's one of those that need a $42 cocktail. Like, she's one of those that should have got her ass whooped when she was younger, but she didn't. Listen, that adhesive was something else. Jesus. She should have been locked up a long time ago. I'm sorry, but anyway, yes, Anissa, thank you for the review. Okay. Oh, reminder, y'all, in April, I will be doing the Celebrities Who Left Too Soon series where I talk about gruesome cases involving, celebrities that were found murdered in the most horrific way. So make sure you stay tuned for that because it's right around the corner. The next event is coming up in June of this year, and it is going to be the Infamous Ones Who Done It, where I have a few, surprise guests participating with me. And I can tell y'all, we've got the city and everything right now. I'm trying to secure the venue, so you haven't heard anything solidified as of yet. But one thing that is solidified is that it's going to be a competition with a $500 cash prize. So make sure that you stay tuned for details on that. Like I said, trying to get everything finalized so that way I can start selling tickets at some point in March. Make sure to follow the Black Box for new episodes. You can follow on whatever app you listen to this show on. There will be a Black History episode on the Black Box, so stay tuned. Make sure that if you want to support the show or if you're feeling the spirit, meaning that liquor that y'all been sipping on tonight, click the link at the bottom of the screen from whatever app you're listening to this episode on and hit listener support to subscribe. Subscriptions are like starting at 99 cents. You can also donate via the Cash App to $infamous one pod. That's $INFAMOUSONEPOD. Donations go toward court documentations, interviews, JPay, all of that to deal with these crazy convicts and felons and whatever else. Oh, and shout out to the popcorn donators, of course. Appreciate y'all's love. If you have a case that you want to hear more on that you feel has been ignored in the Black community, if you want to inquire about ad space, or if you simply want to leave a review, send an email to infamousonepod@gmail.com. That's INFAMOUSONEPOD@gmail.com. And once again, people, please share, share, share. Sharing is caring. Is it though? But this podcast is definitely growing by the day, and it means the world. So please keep sharing. Until then, y'all know what it is. I'm your girl Kay. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see y'all next week with part 2 of this crazy case, y'all. Stay mobbing, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay. Be sure to like and comment on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so that you never miss an episode.